Good morning, Charles Van Morgan Show. Charles Van Morgan, Unbridled News, got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about you're very likely to go to prison, or even worse yet, be executed. And your innocence is very little likely to make any difference. You say, I'm innocent, I won't go to prison. Think again. We're going to talk about that this morning. We're going to talk about your innocence plays very little part in whether or not you go to jail or whether or not you get executed. It's not a lot based on the facts. Now, that's a misconception of the public, and I'm here to try to, the best I can, educate you. A lot of you already know this. So it really depends on how much money you got. Charles Van Morgan Show, come on in. We're going to tell you the truth and what we can do to avoid jail. Avoid execution. You say, well, I'm innocent, that's all I need. No, you need a lot more than innocence, because innocence doesn't matter unless you're one of them. You'll never go to jail if you're innocent, one of them. And you hardly ever go to jail even if you're guilty if you're one of them. So we're going to talk about your likelihood, and it's highly likely, more likely than what you think. We're going to talk about the numbers of going to jail in the United States of America when you did no damn crime. Maybe you committed the audacity of exercising your First Amendment rights. We're going to talk about your likelihood of going to jail or getting executed in the United States of America, in this great free country that we have. So we're going to tell you the truth about that and explain that. Come on board, Charles Van Morgan Show. Charles Van Morgan in the morning, Unbridled News. And if we scare you straight, that's a prison term, not because you committed a crime, scare you straight into our advice to prevent yourself from going to prison, then we've accomplished our task in this show, because we're going to tell you the truth about your likelihood of going to jail. People say I'm innocent. That don't make no difference whether you're innocent or not. It has little value in their system of injustice, and I'm about to explain that to you this morning. I love this flag, this American flag. Soldiers fought and died for our freedoms. Soldiers fought and died for our rights to go in a courtroom and defend ourselves. They shed their blood for our way of life. And yet in this country, innocent people are incarcerated by the truckloads. We're going to tell you the numbers. You might be very surprised about how many innocent people in jail. And the government makes fun of people. They say everybody in jail says they're innocent. A lot of them are. Well, maybe you ought to listen to them. That's just a phrase they use to say, yeah, everybody says that. Won't we listen to what they're saying? And I'm going to tell you something very alarming. Hello, SAIF up 3-8. Hello. Hello, Darren going. Hello. And thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming in. Hey, man, so we're going to talk about the mass incarceration rate in the United States of America. The incarceration of you when you're innocent. Imagine that. Imagine the real story. Have you ever heard somebody on presenting the news saying there's innocent people in jail? We need to fight for these people's rights. And what I'm going to tell you is very alarming. I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this point. If you don't get anything else, get this point right here, because this is very important. This is what the whole show's about. We're going to have a mass incarceration rate. I don't like people going to prison. I'm usually against that. But listen to this. Let me turn the camera on. I want you to get this one thing. I want to tell you that I want everybody to remember worldwide, because this is why they hate my guts. People in power hate my guts, because this one thing I'm going to say right here. So listen to me real good. What the whole show's about. Let me turn this camera around and I'll tell you what I'm going to say. I'll tell you what I'm going to say. And I want you to remember this. Now, I don't like people going to prison. I think that's a bad thing. We should be very limited only to the very most dangerous, most violent in society. We lock up people only when we absolutely have to. That's what I think about prisons. And we don't lock up guilty people, which they're locking up guilty people by the truckloads. Might be you. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Listen to the numbers. Reality is your innocence ain't going to protect you. It makes no bearing. It's their power and their lies. They'll put you in jail when you're completely innocent. And they do it in a number of ways. And here's what I want to tell you. Even though I don't like people going to prison, I think we should be very lenient as far as possible. If I was ever in public office, this is why I probably never will be, maybe, I don't know, if enough people listen to me, is this. We're going to have a mass incarceration rate. A mass incarceration of people in government power. Let's put them in jail. How about that? Let's see how they like it. Let's slam the door on them. But we'll do it fairly. We'll only prosecute them when they're guilty. And they're guilty of crimes. They're guilty of putting civilian, the populace, they're guilty of putting you in jail when you didn't even commit a crime, when your family member didn't even commit a crime. Now they won't tell you that. They lie and they say that the prison population in the United States of there's about 8 million people under the control, bigger than the state of Tennessee, under the control of the government, accused and convicted by their false admission sometimes of committing a crime under the control of the unjust criminal system. They call it the criminal justice system. It's not the criminal justice system. It's the criminal system. The criminal system, they're the criminals used to control the mass populace of American citizens that are completely innocent of any crime, a lot of them. And if I ever get in public office, and I'm not saying I'm running for public office, I don't know, I might. We'll think about it. I will have the largest incarceration in American history and Tennessee history of people in government power. The real criminals, the real thugs, the criminaloids, the people who are really violent and dangerous. These are your judges, your prosecutors, your politicians, some of your high-ranking police officials. Oh, they don't want me to say that. They're the real criminals. They're the ones that cause more social harm than anybody. Have we ever thought about that? We want to lock up the poor, and most people in jail are poor. That's why just face it, that's why they go to jail. It's not because they committed a crime. It's because they're poor. We incarcerate the poor. And you don't even have to be poor. You have to be less affluent. Could you afford $50,000 right now, get out of the bank right now and go down and defend yourself against a heinous crime that they posted your picture all over the paper, got fake evidence and lied about you? Could you come up with $50,000 to hire an attorney right now? Well, then you might go down. You say, well, I'm innocent. I can prove it. That doesn't matter. They've got expert liars, expert prosecutors that train every day to cheat the system, to put you in jail. And we're going to talk about that with evidence and facts today. Evidence and facts. I'm not talking hocus pocus, conspiracy theories. I'm talking about science. I'm talking about logic. I'm talking about the way it is. If you don't like the way it is, then you might end up in jail. And hopefully when you end up in jail or on death row and you say, well, I didn't do this. And I remember that man, Charles Van Morgan, that stood up with a cell phone, claimed to be telling me the truth. He was right, but now it's too late. So don't let it be too late. And here's my message for today is you might end up in jail or worse yet on death row, completely innocent. And there's things we can do about that. Under this system of anarchy, you might end up that way. And there's things we can do to prevent that. And they commit all kinds of heinous crimes, all kinds of crooked, wicked things, and walk free. And the worst part about it is they go to the bank and collect your money. It's a lot about money. They collect your money and get your property and get everything you got while they lock you up. That's what their system of injustice does, and that's what it's all about. And we're going to speak the truth to power to you and explain that to you today. This morning, Charles Van Morgan Show. Come on in, like, share, and if you like the show, subscribe. You won't hear this news anywhere else. This is news. This is news. This is the truth. This is the truth. This is stuff you won't hear anywhere else. This is stuff literally speaking the truth within my constitutional rights. I'm not advocating violence. I'm telling you another way of thinking about things, reality. Direct contrary to the narrative that they tell you. I know the narrative that they tell you. I used to be part of the government. I know the narrative they tell you. Everybody in jail has had a fair trial, has their constitutional rights, and they're 100% guilty, and nobody's there that's not guilty. I know the narrative that we are protecting you with our tough on crime stance. That's the narrative they tell you. We're being fair and we're open and forthright and we're completely honest with you. That's the narrative, but My narrative is the truthful narrative. That's their lie. Their lie is to incarcerate you and get your money. I have no iron in the fire. I'm not in the government. I don't benefit from this. This, in fact, puts me in danger because nowhere else will you hear the truth that has put me in jail by the government. They put me in jail for telling the truth about them because they don't want the truth out. They don't want somebody telling them that you don't go to jail because of crime. You go to jail because they want to control you and they want your money. That's the system that we got. When you drive down the street, you drive past the county building, you drive past a police car, remember, they're not out there to protect you. They're out there to put you in jail and get your money. And it's not necessarily the policeman. Some of them aren't, but they have to do what they're told by the people in power to keep their job. Now, I'm not saying every police officer is bad, but that's what the system upholds. And they know it. They damn well know it. I got stopped at a THP roadblock the other day. Ones I used to be out on where we'd check for drunk drivers. And pulled up and started to get out my driver's license. I said, I'm Charles Van Morgan, a former trooper. I said, your department defamed me and wrongfully fired me. And it was starting to give him my driver's license. And he said, yeah, I know. He said, you probably didn't see it. He knew about the wreck. And I didn't. So they know. And a lot of police officers are nothing they can do about it. They got to go along with the system. And not every police officer does wrong, and not everybody in the government does wrong. I'm just telling you, as a matter of fact, with proof and evidence, that this government that we have, that have been elected into office illicitly by false stuff, by imprisoning, incarcerating any opposition, where the other side doesn't get out. My side doesn't get out. Your side, the mass populace, I'm speaking for you, that side don't get out. It doesn't get out because if somebody stands up and says, hey, under our Constitution, I got a right to say this perspective, then we get jailed. We get beat up, put in the hospital. But I'm still out here on a public sidewalk speaking the truth to you all. Y'all are the real power. Let's vote these people out. Their system is set up to put you in jail. It's not set up to protect you. I'm speaking from a educated, life-lived, sociological point of view. I have a Master of Arts in sociology. And even better than that, I've read the books, I know the literature. I've lived life, and I can put the framework of what I learned in sociology theories and put them in facts about how human life goes. Police officers in courts are made up of people. It's not the rule of law that puts people in jail. It's people that decide who broke the rule of law or who the rule of law applies to. It's people that decide what laws are to be made. And I damn guarantee they're not laws made to incarcerate them. Why don't we have a special prosecutors investigation unit to uncover crimes of prosecutors that falsely put people in jail? I can tell you numerous cases here in Knox County where we have a little bit of signs and the sickness is so great, you have small symptoms of the crimes created by these people in power. Mr. DeBusk, listening to attorney-client privilege. Has he ever went to jail for that? Miss Fitzgerald, withholding evidence here in Knox County. A lot of people have forgotten about that. And witnessing a crime by a judge. You think he went to jail? So at the same time that you're going to jail for being completely innocent, didn't do anything wrong, and that's the fallacy. People think your innocence will protect you. I mean, it's a fundamental thought. We're rational, reasonable human beings that we think we're innocent, and we can even prove it, and we won't go to jail. What I'm here to tell you today is wake up, America. Wake up, Tennesseans. Your innocence won't protect you at all. It has no bearing in their evil. That's how evil they are. That's how evil. They love to put you in jail. Look at my screenshot. In a famous sheriff, Grady Judd. Now, he's in Florida, but it works the same way in Tennessee. They post your picture all over the place. Even if you're accused, holding up a picture calling somebody a crook because he caught him red-handed. And he may have, but they love it, calling him a crook. You look at my picture, the former colonel of the THP, I'll hold his picture up, call him a crook. He's a crook. Their crook went to jail. Maybe they did commit a crime in that case. I don't know. Grady Judd says they did. Loves holding up that picture. See that? His holding up that picture says that lady's a crook. Look at that picture right beside him. Tracy Trotz, THPP. He's a crook. He's a crook. See, but he's one of their crooks, so he don't go to jail. He passes go, collects $200, and enjoys his retirement after possibility. And he admits that he's been involved in deadly incidences with Highway Patrol. You say, well, those were investigated. He's innocent. Those were investigated by them, for them. That doesn't mean anything that they claim that they're innocent. You can claim you're innocent and you go to jail. And they claim they're innocent when they committed crimes, and they go to retirement and have their pictures put up. They're heroes. It has nothing to do with innocence or guilt. What it has to do with is power. They have the power. They got a gun. They'll put an innocent person in jail, or you'll get shot and killed. So we're going to talk about that. Who discusses that? Anybody watch any show where they tell you based on science, from an educated perspective, Unbridled News, that the guilty go free? You know, the TBI in Tennessee's got their little catchphrase. Oh, they want to spread propaganda that innocence will not suffer. That's the motto of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. That innocence will not suffer, and the guilty won't go free. The motto should be that the innocent go to jail and the guilty prosper, because they're under the dictatorship of the governor of the state of Tennessee, and he's one of the most worthless pieces of dirt that honors crime and praises people with a big pocketbook with a lot of money, funds core civic, the penal institution that gets money off putting you in jail, a private institution, has one of the most horrific murder rates and crime rates inside the prison, and atrocious medical care for inmates. And Governor Bill Lee wants to keep that atrocity open, let people get killed. He don't care. It's not him. And it makes them money. They get lobbyists and all kinds of money from tax money from incarcerating innocent, completely innocent people. So if you think you're innocent, we'll keep you out of prison or execution. You could be dead wrong. And if we ever get in power to correct the system, to put a little fear of God, maybe a little fear of Van, maybe a little fear of the populace of the state of Tennessee, because I speak for you y'all. I listen and I speak for the populace of the state of Tennessee. And I've talked to more of the populace than any candidate has ever in the state of Tennessee. I knocked on about 40,000 doors, not with my paid lobbyists, not with my money, convincing people that I'm an honest person. If I were not, I'm telling people I'm honest, I'm willing to listen. And the other part of that is to have a mass incarceration rate. Mass. I'm talking about by the truckloads. You say, well, you're against a heavy prison sentence, and you don't like to see people go to jail, and you want to release a lot of people. You want to release innocent people, and you want to empty the jails out as far as possible. Why are you talking about a mass incarceration rate if you're in prison? A mass incarceration rate of the people who are doing this atrocity on us and putting us in jail, putting you in jail right now. You are at risk of going to prison right now as you drive down the street, past the police, past the city county building, past the law enforcement agencies, completely innocent of any crime at all, trying to go to work, trying to make a living, trying to feed your family. You are in danger. You are in bad danger right now, this very day. This is how important it is. Of being killed on the roads because they don't protect the roads, of being murdered by a really violent offender, of being killed by a government official in the course of their illicit government functions that are really false. They're false arrest warrants, they're false charges. Being completely innocent, tried to live your life by one of them. So the mass incarceration rate that I propose is a mass incarceration rate of people that have caused this atrocity. of people in government power right now. Let's put them in jail. See how they like it. Look at my picture. I've got a picture of Mr. Tracy Trotz. He's a criminal. Let's put them in jail. His signature thing that he did while he was in office is increase penalties on you, increase fines in civil proceedings. That's just because he doubled the fines on people in the state of Tennessee. That's his signature that he's proud of. I wouldn't be proud of that. I think we ought to lower penalties. We ought to lower fines and costs off the public. You know, the more and more, because of how the government run things, because of their mass incarceration rate of hardworking Tennesseans, of hardworking people all across America, the more and more prices go up because of how they misrun the economy. I'm not running the economy right now. They are. They are. People in power. Governor Bill Lee's running the economy. Governor Bill has been, the former governor that's really running the governorship with his money. We're in power right now. And they're raping the system, taking money from the system, living high on the hog, and making the cost of things go up. They're such gluttons. They need so much more. So they tax you more. And the harder things get, the more cost of living goes up. The more they increase taxes and live more off you. Your wages don't go up, but your taxes do, so they can live better. And the more and more people can't pay stuff, and the more and more the incarceration rate goes up. There is about 8 million people across the United States in governmental control, in prisons and jails, on probation or parole, under the government's control. And the people that have caused this mass atrocity of the prisons busting out, allegedly fighting crime when they need to look in the damn mirror. We need to have a mass incarceration rate of people in government power. Let's put them in jail. See how they like it. And I guarantee you, if we put a lot of people in jail in government power, not the ones that they hang out, the ones you see on the news that they say, oh, this person in government power, they stole this tax money, they stole a few cents here. And I've talked to people, they know this too. If the government is hanging out another government official, it's not because the government official committed a crime substantially. They all are, for the most part. They all are. Very few politicians and government officials aren't committing crimes because it's rampant, it's allowed. It's like a criminal syndicate. The ones they hang out, the ones you see on the news getting charged, are the ones that made somebody mad. The ones that have, excuse my language, pissed off somebody in the organization. People know that. They say that to me, that when they watch TV and they see one of their government officials being charged with a crime, they think, a lot of people think, yeah, the system's working. They're putting their own in jail. No, that's not true. The system's not working. They're hanging somebody out. That's going against them. That's going against the power elite. That's made somebody in higher power mad. It's not the system straightening out itself. If it were a justice system, a fair and adequate, appropriate justice system that did not raise your cost of living, that was not a machine that worked so well for them that it causes glutton and they're just too good for their own stupid selves, then you would see mass incarceration, mass prosecutions of people in government power, people that are running the system. Because obviously the system is not running good for you right now. It's not working for you. When the food prices are high, your likelihood of going to jail is, now get this, your likelihood of going to jail. So I'm innocent. Take that off the table. That's irrelevant. It really doesn't matter. Prosecutors get a feather in their cap for convicting an innocent person. They convict guilty people all day long. That's nothing to them. That's easy to do. It's easy to do. They don't get promotion. They don't get status. They don't get recognition. That's not a problem. It truly isn't. I mean, you think about it. They do that every day, all day long, convict innocent people. Convict guilty people all day long. And put them in jail for ungodly amounts of time for minor offenses. Dangerous offenses that hurt society are not penalized like they should. And minor offenses that are about controlling your money put you in jail for an ungodly amount of time. And they do that all day, every day. put people in jail that are guilty for long periods of time. The feather in their cap, and what makes them smile, is when they get an innocent person like me or you. This is the truth. You won't hear this anywhere else. Unbridled news. Charles Van Morgan, educated, life lived, been in the system, know how they think, know how their conscience is seared. The benefit to them, what makes them happy, is getting an innocent person convicted. That's what they love to do. That shows their expertise, that the facts and law don't matter. They're so good at what they do. Cheating the system and cheating Americans and cheating Tennesseans and putting you in jail when you didn't do a damn thing. And they do it for a multitude of reasons. One of the main reasons they do it is for money. When they go to jail, when you go to jail, they get your money. They get more tax money. They get so much money ahead. They benefit from guilty pleas and guilty convictions. They don't benefit from innocent people going free. They benefit from innocent people being pronounced guilty and labeled guilty by their crooked, corrupt system while they're guilty, and they get your money. It's a criminal syndicate. The Tennessee justice system is a criminal syndicate run by criminals, and they convince you to vote for them, that they'll make things better and they'll keep being harder on crime, which has never worked. Being harder on crime has never worked, because they're not harder on the real crime. They're harder on innocent people, you, and they don't write out their own damn warrants and put themselves in jail. And they're never going to. We're going to have to do that for them, and I believe we can do it and get it done. We're trying to. It's called First Amendment freedom of speech. Charles Van Morgan, live in the morning. You won't hear this anywhere else. So your chances of going to prison, irrelevant of whether you're innocent, is 1 in 35. 1 in 35 chance of being one of those 8 million people. So you go to church, or you go to your small social group, look around, see 35 people. One of those people will be convicted. Whether or not they committed a crime is irrelevant. They like it better when they're not. That shows their power, how they can do whatever they want to do to anybody. That's called power. That's called a shared conscience with power. Absolute power corrupts. And they've had absolute power for way too long. They're absolute liars, absolute criminals. That's why I want to put them in jail by the truckloads, to stop some of this abuse of Tennesseans under their Christian banner. Wow. Yeah, God's not behind mass incarcerations of innocent people. God is for helping people, open up hospitals. They need to be using the money that they use to put people in jail for beneficial programs that stop mass incarcerations. And we don't even have to build more jails to put them in jail, because what we're going to do is the innocent people that they put in jail, we're going to let them out. And then we're going to have more bed cells, more jail cells for people like Tracy Trotz, for people like Randy Nichols. You say you're calling them a criminal? You're calling them a criminal in that defamation? No, it's not defamation, it's the truth. Truth is a complete defense to defamation. So I'm telling the truth. I can tell you the crimes they committed. Trotz committed fraud that caused, to this day, is causing 45% more people to get killed on Tennessee roadways. That's what Trott did. Trott committed a fraud, got a fake case through the Tennessee court system, through the civil justice, unjustice system. It took me off the road when I was out saving more lives than any trooper in the state of Tennessee. He admits in depositions, because I fight them, I'll always fight. People take time deciding whether they should fight or not. I mean, there's a hesitation. My light's green. It's on. You mess with me, we'll fight. We'll fight. Now I do it tactically. The tactical light is always on. I may not attack you from the front. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about strategic self-defense. You attack me, I'll defend myself. It's a green light. I don't have to sit around and think. It doesn't take me a lot of time to think, am I going to defend myself, or we're going to have to decide this for years and years? That gives the enemy time to overtake you. My light is green. I will defend myself every time, all the time. Not necessarily a frontal attack. If the frontal attack's necessary, we'll go that way. But we will fight you every time, all the time, in some way or another. And it may be strategically to wait and hide until we get your backside. Like my grandfather told me a long time ago, very smart man. Osborne Morgan, very smart man, my grandfather. I didn't have a father, I had a great-grandfather. Like he used to tell me, and listen to this, if you can't whoop a man while he's looking, wait till he's not. Wait till he's not. So you know, you attack me, we'll wait till you're not if we can't get you head on because you got too much lies and power. And I'm not talking about violence, I'm talking symbolically, but I don't waste time thinking about whether or not we're going to confront evil. We're going to confront it. We're coming, we're going. And if you mess with us, hide and watch. It's coming. Some way or the other, the best bet is to leave us the hell alone. Let us live. Let us have free lives. Let us enjoy America the way it's supposed to be, the way soldiers fought for us to be. Or it's coming. It's coming. It's not going to go. It's not going to go unheard. We're coming. We fight. That's what some people are called for. So we will empty the prisons of innocent people and put people like Tracy Trott in the pokey. He loves putting other people in jail, raising your fines while he's enjoying his retirement. If I ever got in power, we would reinvestigate he's admitted under oath, Tracy Trott admitted under oath, that he was involved in deadly pursuits and police shootings where he shot somebody. So the Highway Patrol, Tennessee Highway Patrol, THPP as I like to refer to them, investigated those incidents, and obviously they've said that he's innocent. They say people are guilty when they're innocent, and they say people are innocent when they're guilty. Their investigations are flawed. Their investigations are about who do we want to win. As I said, guilty or innocence doesn't matter to them. It's about who's your daddy and who's in power and who wants what, who's got the money, who's got the upper hand. So we'll reinvestigate him to see if he's murdered somebody. If he hasn't, that's fine. But the questions need to be asked because their investigations are flawed. And we'll remove people out of jail and put him and Randy Nichols in a cell that they put innocent people in. Because I know they lie under oath. I know they present false evidence, and I can prove it. So we will put a mass incarceration rate, if I ever get in power. Help me get in power maybe, I don't know. Or help me put somebody in power. And we'll have a mass incarceration rate so that you can eat, get them to stop stealing your money. I mean, have you ever thought about the inflation rate? That's just natural. It's not natural. Prices ought to be going down with automation, new science, new technology. It's easier for them to make food. It's easier for them to transport food. Costs less, not more. Why is stuff going up? Because we are infected by parasites, by criminals in our government power that have gotten good at deception and saying, vote for me, I'll keep the price, I'll keep the crime rate down while they're putting innocent people in jail and committing crimes on you their damn selves. So we will have a mass incarceration rate of people in government power if I ever get in power. We don't have to build new prisons. We'll let all the innocent people they put in jail go free. Imagine that. You ever heard anybody talk like that? It's not working now. Give it a shot. Give it a try. See what happens. Your cost of food will go down because we'll stop these gluttons from stealing your money. So thank y'all for coming on board. Look how many people we got in here. God bless you all. I pray. Listen to the show. We're going to go down to our signature location, the Henley Street Bridge, or maybe we might go somewhere else. Don't want to give somebody an indication of where I'm going. We might have to change locations because I'm putting out so much power, so much truth. But there's a lot of people who like to see me dead. They don't want you to have this thought. They don't want to let you have this side. They don't want you to have this side of the argument, this side of the truth. They've already put me in jail, put me in the hospital first for speaking the truth. I got a right to say this under the First Amendment. So we might have to start going somewhere else depending on how it works out about thugs in power. If something happens to me, it's not some thug out here. It is people in power who have tried to shut me up because I'm speaking for you. So let's see, get up here into the light, and we'll see how many people we got on here. Continue this dialogue. We're going to talk about your chances of going to prison or even being on death row while you're walking around here in society free, trying to make a living, trying to live your life, abiding by the law, doing the best you can, under difficult circumstances that people in power have created for you. It's not just by chance that inflation, your affordability is high. It's because people in power are stealing your money. They're thieves. They're lying to you. They're living well. And the cost of things keeps going up, and they keep raising your taxes, keep making it harder for you, keep putting more people in jail. And we're going to talk about that and discuss the numbers, and we'll show you some crimes and some evidence of what I'm trying to present to you. If you don't believe it, hey, that's fine. You believe whatever you want to believe. God gave you a mind. Some people don't have good sound minds. And we'll present the other side of the story that people need to hear. And it must be the truth, because they damn sure don't want you to hear it. I mean, why'd they put me in jail? If it's completely off base and not true, why don't you just leave me alone? And why don't you just counter the argument? It's because they know I'm telling you the truth. I speak truth to power to you all against the crooked people in government power, and I'd like to put them in jail. They love to put you in jail. Let's put some of them in jail for the crimes they're committing, not the ones they hang out. They're the ones that made them mad. I'm talking about a bunch of them by the truckloads, like they're doing to you all. And it's not even unfair. They're truly guilty of crimes. They're criminaloids. They're worse than regular criminals. They use the position of legitimacy in government power to commit awful acts of atrocity that cause you all to get killed. So many people got in here, and we'll continue talking about this. Got some real good information. Hang on. It gets, I'll make a new word. It gets gooder. It gets good. Let's see how many people we got in here. So just a few. So like, share, comment. Thank y'all for coming on board. So let's read some. Most of the people here have the same mental deficiencies as Lexi. Look at the naysayers in here. Oh man, you hurt my feelings so bad, I'm not going to get on here anymore. Yeah, right. You probably went to jail for alcohol-related reasons. Judging by your failing liver, that has gone. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Some of the stuff. Listen to the stuff these sickos are saying. Does that even make any sense? How about some logical, factual arguments? How about name some of the books you've read and some of the information that you have to present an argument, or just get on here and spit out stuff and help me to get the message out. I'm with you. Thank you, Finskus. Thank you very much. Do you know about legal name fraud? He wouldn't even, because he was, okay. So we leave the chat wide open. You can't use the system to go against the system. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. You can't use the system to go against the system. You can use parts of the system to go against the system. You damn sure can. And I'm also talking about means and methods to go outside the system, to go other avenues outside the system. And you have to go in the system to gain legitimacy, to show people that, hey, we're trying to do it your way, and to show the people that that doesn't work, that the truth doesn't matter to these dirt bags. So yeah, you can use part of the system to show how the system doesn't work. So if you're on board, vote. Voters of Truth and Rage. And we're going to tell you how you got a 1 in 35% chance of going to jail. You go down here to the bridge and lay out the evidence. And if you think that your innocence matters, it absolutely does not matter. It's about their power. And we're going to talk about some specific things that they do and have done to put you in jail, increase penalties, and some of the crimes that they have committed against the populace, against you all, and hopefully scare you into the truth. Let you know that you can go to jail, but there is something we can do about it. There's a hell of a lot we can do about this. And one of the things we can do about this is get the message out get the truth out, which is a message contrary to what they're telling you. What they're telling you is their message, their propaganda, their falsehoods, their lies that keep them in power, keep criminals out of jail, and put you in jail, make it a more dangerous society for you. Their system of justice is not about fighting crime. It's about making them money. It's about benefiting them. So let's get across the road here. And we will try not to get killed. So like, share, comment, subscribe. We're on our way down to the bridge, the Henley Street Bridge, or we may go to the Gay Street Bridge. We go live out in public on a public sidewalk and using the stand on the First Amendment, speak out against people in government power. And today we're talking about how they put you in jail for not committing any crime, for money, for power and control. And they do it for a variety of reasons. And you got a 1 in 35% chance, 1 in 35 chance of going to jail whether or not you committed a crime or not. Because the criminal unjustice system in the state of America, in the United States of America, has about 8 million people behind bars or in the government's control in the penal system by parole or probation. So, or, you know, they got them ankle bracelets on you. About 8 million people they got under their control that they have said committed a crime and got a conviction, false conviction, a lot of times. And you're in danger of going to jail. You go to your church crowd. You go to your church or your local bar. Look around, you see 35 people in there. You could be the one that your number comes up. You're one of those 35 that gets drug out of the bar or drug out of church even. Or your door gets kicked in. Hopefully they don't blow your brains out, shooting you 9 times. And they have no body camera. And you get executed on the street, which happens. Or in your house, which happens. And you say, I'm innocent. That'll never happen. That's what I want to correct, that fallacy. And what I'm telling you is very alarming, but it's very true, and it's something you need to know. And they don't even want me to tell you this, but I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you. And even some police officers, they know they're subject to the same bullshit. Innocence doesn't make a damn. Good officers get fired all the time. Good officers get prosecuted all the time. It's about their system of power and corruption. Innocence doesn't play a part. Innocence just makes it worse on you. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about a principle in the Bible in Genesis chapter 18 that is a concept, a worldview of what I have, of what I'm trying to tell you. That is, let's make sure you don't get run over here. I don't do any good dead. So the traffic's coming. So we're going to talk about a concept in the Bible, which I am a Christian, so I have and if you're not a Christian, you're still welcome, come on in. I hope that you do come to the saving knowledge of Lord Jesus Christ. It's a free choice, but I'm not fake, I'm telling you the truth. And that's my worldview. That's my perspective, so I'm not hiding it from you. I have a worldview that's based on Christian principles. And some of the Christian principles are the value of life. I have I have the principle of the value of Jesus Christ, who said, love your enemies. Pray for them that despitefully use you and mistreat you. I have values of Jesus. The same Jesus that threw people out of the temple physically. So it's not a Christian worldview that thinks you shouldn't fight back against evil. I do believe that you should. That's one of my Christian worldviews, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm being like Jesus. I'm fighting these people back. And that's what we need to do. And the other worldview that I have about the mass incarceration rates, it's a biblical principle, is one you'll find in Genesis chapter 18 that shows a principle that I have about mass incarceration rates and the prosecution of innocent people being put in our jails by their flimsy burden of proof and their lies that they do in Tennessee courtrooms every day, all day long. They convict innocent people, which is an atrocity according to the biblical worldview and my worldview. If you look at Genesis chapter 18, and here's the principle that's very clearly spelled out in the early part of the Bible about convicting innocent people, that Governor Bill Lew, who proclaims to be a Christian, should know, and he does know, he just doesn't care because he's not worried about God. He's worried about the power because he's afraid of people in power. He knows what will happen to him if he stands up against these people. So we're going to talk about that. So like, share, comment, and if you can, contribute to Voters of Truth and Rage. Contribute to Charles Van Morgan, Unbridled News. Help keep this show on the air. We did get monetized, and some of my videos have been demonetized because I tell the truth. None of it violent, none of it dangerous. But the people in government power control the media. And if I get demonetized, if I get taken off YouTube, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Telegram. We will get the message out. Try to, one way or another. The way you can help us is support the movement. Support Charles Van Morgan, Power to You the People movement. And send a super chat. And help us. Ink and paper costs money. We put out ink and paper against these people in government power all over the place. So help us spread the movement. And we're going to go down to the bridge and welcome Charles Van Morgan in the morning. And we're going to talk about Genesis chapter 18 and what it means. Come on board. Let me tie my shoe. Come on board. Come on board. Welcome. See the signature sign there. Like, share, comment, and if you like the show, subscribe. So Genesis chapter 18 has the principle, the worldview, that God would spare the city of Sodom and Gomorrah in their wickedness and crimes if there were 10 innocent people there. God wouldn't destroy the city for 10 innocent people. He wouldn't harm a lot of guilty people if there were 10 innocent in that city. He'd leave the whole city alone. People guilty of wrong and and sickness and crime, he would leave that city of Sodom and Gomorrah. All those people that are guilty, he'd leave them alone, not destroy them, if there were 10 people in that city that were innocent. So the principle in the Bible, and the principle that I stand on, is the principle that even if, and it's American principle, even if we have to let guilty people free of some of the crimes that they committed, it is better to let guilty people go free than it is to do the horrible, horrific thing of putting innocent people in jail. That's a principle I have. And that's an American principle. If we were to follow the American system of justice, then we make it difficult under our laws to put an innocent person in prison. It's a principle of the Bible. Better let guilty go free than to convict innocent people. As a worldview that I have, it's a Christian principle. I would rather let a guilty person out of a crime than to make the mistake of branding somebody guilty, or even in a civil proceeding, to take their money and brand them guilty of a civil offense, which they have done to me. They tried to make me guilty of criminal offenses I never committed, and tried to brand me guilty even though they didn't even get a guilty conviction. That's what they do. But the principle of Christianity, a principle of God Almighty, which is a little bit bigger than these people on this planet that think they're more powerful than God. They're not. Because God hears the power, God hears the prayers of the afflicted. And if you're in jail and you're afflicted, God hears your prayer. God cares. And God's not for convicting innocent people. People on this planet are for that. They want to put every damn body in jail to get them out of their freaking way. There is a principle in sociology, a theory. Now that's not theory about God. Genesis 18, chapter 18, read it, starts in verse about 20. Talks about God would spare the city of Sodom and Gomorrah if there were 10 innocent people. He wouldn't destroy all the guilty people. So the principle is better to let guilty people go free than convict innocent people. That's a godly principle. People in public power don't have that principle. They don't. They'll put guilty people in jail along with innocent people because they make money off that. So that is a Christian value and principle that I have that people in government power don't have. They enjoy the sinister, sick, pathetic part of being able to convict innocent people along with the guilty. So that is a Christian value and principle that I have. So we're almost to the bridge, and we're going to spell out some of the evidence that I have of innocent people going free, and we're going to talk about some of the ways that people in government power, while they're committing crimes, atrocities, are further making ways to keep people in prison for longer periods of time and being harsher and harsher on the publics, the populace, being harsher and harsher on you, and getting themselves out of crimes completely free when they commit crimes, completely free of any investigation or any accountability. And we'll talk about some specific instances. The people in government power are all for, every time, all the time, they lobby for this, to put you, the mass populace, in jail for longer periods of time. They make laws stricter and stricter, harder and harder. This country has more people in jail than any nation in the world. Mass incarceration in the United States. Is crime down? No. No, it doesn't work. They're failed policies. And the reason they don't work is because they're not really putting criminals in jail. They're putting members of the mass populace in jail. The real criminals are the people that are putting 10 innocent people in jail along with the one or two guilty persons. They have the exact opposite worldview of what I have. And if we really want a just and fair society, if we really want the price of food to go down, if we really want things to be fair, we will put the people in government power, some of them, behind bars for their atrocities, for their evil. So, thank y'all very much for joining. Got some paperwork. We're going to show y'all some notes. We're going to talk about the prosecutor's office down here, about how they put you in jail, witness crimes of people in government office, witness them, documented, and then let them go free. You can read newspaper articles and get a little snippets of criminal activity by people in government power because of journalists, but you don't get the full gamut. You don't get the full story. It's printed and then it goes away. But all these articles and all these list of things form a pattern, and if you get somebody like me that's unbridled, that continues to go over these atrocities and collect news articles and show you a pattern that fits into the true narrative, then you can see what's going on. You won't hear this anywhere else. Now they print little snippets, little articles on the front page one day or the third page when they have a horrific event that they can't cover up, and stuff they've already done that they go back and print. But you don't get the full gamut, the collection of numerous articles, and put them all together and explain to you the true narrative that they're trying to cover up. That's why they don't want to do it. They don't want to tell you the true narrative. They want the articles in the paper, for the most part, are telling you their story, their false truth. And I'm telling you the truth. So we're going to go over here to another bridge to protect ourselves from violence a little bit, where people can't predict where we're going every day, because we're subject to maybe getting killed over speaking the truth to power. And we'll put it out as long as we can. If you don't think that's a real threat, you really didn't really go to the hospital with me when they tried to knock the hell out of me, but I still got the hell in me. That's the truth. So we're going to go to a different location, a law enforcement tactic. You don't go the same route, exactly the same route every day, to throw people off that might target you. And trust me, I'm a target. As of today, I want to bring this information. We're going to show you the articles when we get to the bridge. Charles Van Morgan, Unbridled News, the truth. A little different perspective. You may not have heard this before. You might have not have thought about it. A lot of people thought about it. They just didn't put it into words. They're afraid to. Well, I'm putting it out to the whole public. This Unbridled News channel, thank you all. God bless you all. I appreciate every one of you, even the detractors. We have reached, as of today, so like, share, comment. We got over 100 people in here. Thank y'all. We have reached over 1 million people, 1.5 million people, over 1.5 million people. We have reached in the past about 3 months, putting out the truth, So evidently, our message has struck a nerve. It's a little different way of thinking about things. It's the truthful way of thinking about things. From an outsider that used to be an insider that knows all their dirty tricks. And they got all kinds of dirty tricks. They're worthless criminals. They're criminaloids. Look it up. It's a real word. It's about people in power that use their position of power to commit crimes, much worse than a street crime. They've raised their hand to promise to honor the Constitution and honor people's constitutional rights, and then they step all over them. They step all over the blood of soldiers that have fought for the First Amendment, for my right to say the alternative view. And it's alternative. It's very alternative to what they're spitting out. And just listen to this. Is what they're doing working for you? Is mass incarceration keeping you from being afraid? Or is mass incarceration making it more dangerous for you and making it possible that you might even go to jail when you're not even guilty of a crime? That's exactly what I'm telling you. That's not what they tell you. They tell you they're making it more safe. And I'm telling you, I disagree with that. I disagree with that. They tell you that. They can tell you that all day long. I don't try to stop them from telling you that. They told you that for years. Is it working? I'm telling you the exact opposite of what they're telling you. I'm telling you that the mass incarceration has not made you more safe. It's made you less safe. You're more likely to get killed on a Tennessee roadway than you were several years ago. You're more likely in Knoxville, Tennessee, in the state of Tennessee, to get murdered, raped, robbed than you were a few years ago because of mass incarceration. Mass incarceration has done the opposite of what they tell you to do. They're not putting people in jail to make you safe. They're putting people in jail to make money for themselves. That's the alternative point of view. Can I say that? May I say that, please? I'm not asking for permission. I'm telling you, I'm going to say that. And thank you, 1.5 million people are listening. They're putting people in jail to make them money, making it less safe for you, not more. And also, I want you to get this. I want you to get this. This is important. They're making it more likely you and your innocence, trying to make a living, hardworking, mass populace in the state of Tennessee, maybe out on your farm, maybe going to work at your factory, maybe a YouTuber, maybe in your home office, maybe driving a truck, maybe a police officer on the road enforcing the laws for people in the state of Tennessee, making it safe, putting your life at risk. It doesn't matter what you're doing. The mass populations of Tennesseans that are not in with the clique, that are not in with the power elite, and this is what I want you to get. Two things. You're more likely to go to jail in your complete innocence. They're not making it more safe. They're making it more dangerous and making it more likely that you'll be put in prison for no crime at all, or maybe even executed. The rich get richer and the poor get prison. It's about money. That's all it's about. And power and control. And even worse, that's a book by Jeffrey Ryman. And I have renamed it, The Rich Get Richer and the Poor Get Executed. That's a fact. They won't tell you that. You look at sociology, the people that get executed, now some of them are guilty, some of them are not, are the people on the lower income bracket that get executed. The people in jail are on the lower income bracket, the people with less power. It's not about innocence, it's about money. It's about power and control. So we're here at another location. And so we stay away from maybe the assaults, not from a thug, from people in government power. Look at my mugshot. They've already assaulted me. They've already hurt me. So here we are at another bridge. Thank y'all so very much. So we got a bunch of people in here. So those things I want you to get are the fact that their mass incarceration rate, and we're going to show you the evidence here. I got a bunch of it. It's not hard to prove. The truth's not hard to tell. It's a track. The truth goes right, you can see the tracks go right to the truth. Their lies, they go up here, down here, over here, and they jump through so many hoops that you forgot how many lies they are. And that's how they try to confuse you and tell you what they want you to believe, even though it's a damn lie. The truth is straightforward, honest. It doesn't, you can grasp the concepts real easy. They're real easy to tell the truth. It's difficult to lie. That's why they have to twist and turn and go up and down and bring you over here and start with the wrong premise in the first damn place. I mean, you think that don't even make sense what they're trying to say in the first place. No, it don't. It don't make any sense at all. Mass incarceration, has it made you safer or has crime went up? It's went up. So this is Charles Van Morgan talking truth to power, talking truth to y'all, and try to find a place to put my camera down to put out a little truth to the mass populace and tell y'all what's going on in the world. So we're at this closed down bridge here, this closed down Gay Street bridge that they're going to open up for them, and they're not going to open it up for you all. They're going to open this bridge up for them, and they got it closed. They got it closed for you all. They got it closed for us, but they're going to open it up to the people in power, and they're going to open it up for them. So let me find a place to put my camera down, and we'll go over the evidence here of Mr. Tracy Trott. Here he is, committed fraud. Now there's a person in power that's a criminal. They love There's Grady Judd. There's Grady Judd. He's holding up a picture of a woman that committed a crime, and he's calling her, she's a crook. She's a crook. Grady Judd. They love to do that. They love to do that. Look at this picture right here. Look at this picture right here. Let me show you the same thing. He's doing the same thing I'm going to do. They don't like this, though. They don't like this. Grady Judd, he likes to point out people are crooks. Look at this right here. He's a crook. Look at this. Grady Judd does that. He calls somebody a crook. He's a crook. How about that? Let's give him a little bit back. He's a crook. Tracy Trotz is a crook. That's not defamation. It's the damn truth. He committed fraud. Let's do a little bit of what they did. Let's put him in jail. They love to point at us, put us in jail. They got my picture out. 200 people in here. They got my picture out in a wrong light. Got my picture out in the paper, calling me a crook. And I never committed one crime. Never did. Never been convicted of any crime. So let's put him out. Let's put him out and show him, do what they do. Let's do what they do. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? They don't like that. They can't have that. Well, I just did it. I just did it. Grady Judd. She's a crook. He loves to show people that are crooks, point them out, point the picture out. Let's do that to Tracy Trotz, commander, former chief commander and liar, fraudster over the Tennessee Highway Patrol. And you say, that's cruel for you to do that. That's cruel. You know what's cruel? You know what's cruel? What's cruel is for a trooper to knock on somebody's door and come to their house and look at the beautiful view and say, your little daughter didn't make it home today because a drunk driver hit him. And tell one of your husband or wife, call you on the phone and ask if you're home, if they come by and see you. And you're so worried, and you come by and you hear the knock on the door, you open the door, and there's a trooper there, a city police officer there. Look at the beautiful view. And they say, your husband didn't make it home today. He was hit and killed in a traffic accident. And we're so sorry. And is there anything we can do? And they have a chaplain there that talks to you. That's sad. That's sad. That's very sad. And Major Tracy Trotz did that. He did that by his policies, by his fraud. There was a trooper out on the road. His name is Charles Van Morgan. You know, they put my picture out. I'm a criminal. I wasn't a criminal. I was out saving lives. Numbers don't matter. I know what they say. I know the story. I know the lie that they tell. But they can't tell that lie to me. They can tell it to you because I was there. I seen what happened. I know what happened. I was out protecting lives. I was innocent of any wrongdoing. I was guilty of protecting people's lives, making sure more people got home. When I was out on the road, your husband would have come home. He would have come home at night because I would have got the drunk driver off the road, would have took him off the road and put him in jail where they were safe. The world was safer when I was out on the road. That's the truth. I know the lie that they tell you. I know it. But they can't tell that lie to me. They may be able to sell it to you. They're trying to sell it here today. Innocence doesn't matter. It makes no difference. You can be even out saving lives. They'll accuse you of whatever they want to for whatever sick, pathetic purposes that they have. They're the criminals. They're the criminals. If you think your innocence matters, it doesn't. Look at this beautiful view with the fog, and we'll continue this narrative and show you some more stuff. A beautiful view of the fog and the Henley Street Bridge, and there's the Gay Street Bridge, that beautiful bridge. Thank y'all for coming on. We got almost 200 people. Had 200 people in here at one time. So if you like the show, Truth to Power, I'm talking to y'all. Y'all are the power. People think I'm speaking truth to power. Other people, when they say that, they mean they're talking about truth to people in that city county building over there that run the government corruptly. Look at the skyline, the Christmas tree. But when I say I'm speaking truth to power, I'm talking about y'all. Y'all are the real powerful people. Y'all hold the power of elections in your hands. The power to put honest people in government offices. There's an ambulance. The power to do something about these atrocities. The power to keep those innocent people out of Sodom and Gomorrah, the whole city from being destroyed. Y'all are the innocent people. And y'all are the power that I'm speaking to. The people that will listen. The people that use logic and reason, that are not fooled by their lies. the innocent people, that they can put you in jail. And I want to wake you up and tell you that if you think that you're going about your lives, that you're even doing good, and that you're untouchable from these creeps in power, and let me tell you, as difficult it is to say, sometimes treatment is painful, but it's beneficial. I mean, sometimes you go to the doctor and you hurt worse when you come out for a short period of time, but you needed what they had to tell you, what they had to do. Sometimes it hurt. The truth had to hurt to make you better. And this is the truth. It may hurt. It's a shocker. And I want you to get this. If you think your innocence is going to keep you out of prison, that you can walk around in society and live according to the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, under the people that are in power right now, you're absolutely positively wrong. So join, vote, voters of truth and race, and let's vote these people out of office and have the biggest mass incarceration rate in the history of the state of Tennessee. Not for the populace, for these dirty judges, for these dirty prosecutors, for the dirty chiefs of police and people in public power. Let's clear the jails out of the innocent people. Let's get those 10 innocent people out of Sodom and Gomorrah. And you know, there wasn't 10 innocent people. God destroyed the city. There was one. But let's take care of the innocent people and use a principle of God, only put innocent people in jail. Have godly principles of God Almighty that created the earth, and protect the innocent and incarcerate the guilty. And the guilty people are hard to get to. They're very hard to get to. They got a lot of power. They'll put people that speak out against them in jail and beat on them, violate the First Amendment. I know for a fact, I've seen it. So if you think that your innocence will keep you from jail or even execution, you could be dead wrong. Wake up and listen. Wake up and vote. Don't listen to their false narrative. Don't listen to who they tell you is guilty. Don't listen to who they tell you is innocent. Judges put out false rulings. Juries are manipulated by expert liars in the prosecutor's office. And we're going to talk about some expert liars in the prosecutor's office. Talk about some of the things they've done in the past that I guarantee you they're still doing it, that they don't report it, and I'll report it. What they did don't go away. It's still here today. They're still in public power. How they've been able to get by with their dirty and still stay in power is amazing. It's because of the propaganda. They don't keep reporting it. But I'll uncover the bodies that they buried in their backyard of the courthouse and show them, and they stink. They stink pretty bad. Take a good whiff and go to the polls and vote. And also subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Spread the message. The message of putting people in government power in jail and letting the innocent people out of jail. Imagine that. Imagine that. You ever hear anybody saying that? Let's put a former Attorney General, Randy Nichols, in jail. He committed fraud, perjury, under oath, trying to destroy somebody's reputation, synonymous with murder. You know, bearing false witness in the Bible is right after murder. The commandment not to murder. Then you have bearing false witness, because bearing false witness can murder somebody's character and their life possibilities. And that's what they do, synonymous with murder. Let's put him in jail. How about that? Let's put Tracy Trotz in jail. How about that? Let's go in these courthouses. Let's go in these courthouses when we're in power and arrest some of these dirty judges that violate the Constitution. I've seen them do it, and I'm not hypothesizing or guessing. I've seen it do it. I've seen them do it with my own eyes, and went through their procedures, and their procedures don't work. We need to get in power. I'll run, or somebody else can, and start prosecuting the prosecutors. Start arresting these people in government power by the truckloads, the masses. And you know what will happen if we do that? I'll tell you what will happen. If we start arresting the real criminals, and the real criminals are people that are in public power that are putting you and innocent people in jail, that make it dangerous for you every single day. You're in danger going to jail, and you're innocent, because people in these courthouses these judges, these rogues that have a heart as black can be, that have their conscience seared, that do it all day, every day, that get used to it, that don't care, that benefit off of it. They benefit off guilty when you're innocent. Did you know they have an ordinance in the county of Knoxville, most counties do, to where if a judge finds you guilty, you don't even get a trial in civil cases that are like criminal cases.
Israel's not real.
Thank you. Thank you. Here we got a supporter. Got a supporter here. So yeah. So they put guilty people in jail all day, every day, and their conscience is seared. They get used to it. We need to march in these courthouses after investigation, get valid warrants. We don't want to put innocent people in jail. We won't do that. I have a conscience, I have a heart. There are some judges that are honest. A lot of them are not. I've seen them commit crimes. And we need to get them off of the bench, tell them turn around, put your hands behind your back. You're going to jail. They'll say what for? We'll say for stomping on the blood of soldiers, for convicting innocent people, for filling our jails full because of money. They literally have a statue here in the city of Knoxville that gives the judge retirement money for incarcerating you. Every guilty plea, he gets money that goes into his retirement. Even if you're innocent, if he pronounces you guilty, you don't even get a trial. And he gets so much money ahead for guilty verdicts. So if he says, if you're innocent, you go in this courtroom, argue you're innocent. They won't let you argue you're innocent. They'll tell you to shut up. You're not in here for a trial. They won't tell you that, but that's what they're saying. When you're in court and you're trying to defend yourself, you're answering to accusations. When you're given the time, when you're asking a question, you're supposed to be able to answer it. When they say you can't answer it that way, shut up. And you say, wait a minute, Your Honor, I can't. Shut up. And then a policeman comes out and he'll start to put you in jail for defending yourself. You get a real sense of, I'm not here to defend myself, am I? I'm here to take it. I'm here to pay that man. But I'm not guilty. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. They got guns all over that courthouse. Try to defend yourself. See what the hell happens. You'll end up with worse fines and court costs and charges. If you're smart, you stay there and take it. And I'm not saying disrupt the court process. I'm saying when we get in power, investigate what's going on in our courtrooms all across the state of Tennessee every single day. They get by with it. And put these people in jail for the crimes that they've committed against humanity after investigation and after valid warrants. After we get in power, put them in jail. And I guarantee you know what will happen? Your cost of living will come way down. It'll come way down because they're taking it all. They're raising the cost of living by they literally pay people to conduct false investigations. Your tax money comes out of your pocket instead of going to the grocery store and buying food. Comes out of your pocket to pay these investigators money to pay expert witnesses to go in their courtrooms and lie. That's what's going on. Somebody's got to pay for that. They don't pay for that. You pay for their investigations to prosecute you. You pay for the jails that they house. They house millions of innocent people, I believe. According to their own statistics, there's 5 to 10% of people in prison that are innocent. That's their numbers. My numbers are way higher than that. And my numbers are 5 to 10%, and probably more than that, of the judges that are putting these people in jail are guilty of some heinous criminal acts, and we need to investigate that. And if we investigate that, your cost of living, your cost of affordability will go way down because you have to pay less for people to be put in prison. Now, there is a theory in sociology that comports, that fits the facts with other scientific evidence that says that the high incarceration rate perpetrated by Tennessee judges has nothing to do with crime. There's other people saying this. I'm not the only one saying this. No one puts it out. They're afraid to. You'll get killed for saying this. They'll put you in jail. They'll beat you up. They'll try to kill you. The government will try to kill you. Your government in the state of Tennessee, your public officials, will try to kill you for speaking out against them. I won't try to kill them. Let them speak. They do every day. Let me counter it. They won't let you do that. They don't want the truth. Because when they open their mouth, they're lying. When they adjudicate, usually they're lying. They're lying through their teeth. And it's for your money. They get money when they find you guilty. If they have an innocent person, that is completely innocent, they won't let you defend yourself. They will find you guilty and charge you money. You have to pay court costs and fines, and you pay for that judge's retirement. If you're innocent and he lets you go like he should, like God would, don't convict the innocent, a principle in Genesis 18, he don't get no money. He doesn't get benefited from it. So he'll find you guilty. I've seen it happen. I'm not making it up. And the thinking in sociology is this, as simple as this. Other people saying this. The mass incarceration rate has little to nothing to do with crime. And has everything. I wonder if they're monitoring me. I don't know. I know they are. You can check my Facebook page, which is fine with me. They need to hear what I'm saying too. Maybe some of them will be good enough to straighten it out. The mass incarceration rate has little to nothing to do with crime. If it had anything to do with crime, we'd be putting these politicians, these judges, these crooked government officials, we'd be putting them in jail by the masses for hiring experts to put you in jail to lie for you. We'd be putting prosecutors in jail. We'd be putting all these people in jail. And that's not stopping crime, but the theory is this, and it makes sense and it comports with the facts, that the mass incarceration rate has little to do with crime. The reason why they put people in jail is to control people. The government wants to control people. Look all over the city of Knoxville. They have approved in the budget already, it's already approved, putting cameras everywhere. You're monitored everywhere you go in this city. They want complete total control. Complete total control. And the cameras would be fine if they used it for appropriate purposes. They're using it to spy on you. And they have cameras too, but when they commit crimes where they have cameras, all of a sudden it's not videotape. Imagine that. But the theory is that crime has to do with control of the populace. So it has to do with money. When they want people to work for them, when they need people to do stuff for them, obviously they can't do it when they're in jail substantially. When they need stuff moved, when they need new houses built for them, their bigger houses, their bigger cars, when they need the public to provide services for them, then they let people out of jail. When there's a lot of jobs available for them, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let's get over 100 likes today. When they need people out of jail, they let people out of jail when they have jobs that they need done, when they need them to work for them. When they don't need them to do anything, there's nothing that they need them to do. They got their big fancy house and they got enough people to do it. Then they incarcerate people to control them. So the heavy population rate is due to governmental control over people, not crime. Holding the crime rate constant statistically, meaning that you allow for crime going up and down, and in periods when the crime rate goes down, you would think that there's less incarceration. In times when there's more crime, you would think that there's more rapes, robberies, murders, theft. You would think that the prison population would go up. More people in jail, more crime. In times when there's less crime, less robbery, less murder, less rape, less theft, there would be less people in jail. Say there's 8 people in jail and there's 8 million people in jail and there's a lot of crime. We're under criminal justice control and there's a lot of crime. So that number goes up to 8,100,000 because there's 100,000 more crimes. And then say the crime rate goes down, there's less crime. So it goes from 8,100,000 to 7,900,000 because there's less crime. So the prison population is controlled by the crime rate. It depends on if there's crime. That's why people go to jail, because of crime. What I'm saying, and what this theory comports with the facts, that it's not my theory, it's under conflict theory, that the crime rate, and this is what I think, this explains the high prison population, low prison population, because the prison population does not go up in relation to crime, holding that constant. The prison population goes up, more people in crime, when there's more jobs available for people to do, for people in government power. Now, it's not talking about the unemployment rate. It's talking about when they need people to do stuff for them. They let them out of jail to do stuff for them. When they have the stuff for them done, there's less stuff for them to be able to do. They put the populace in jail to control them. It's not about crime, it's about control. Because if it was about crime, if they wanted to reduce the crime and the horrific social harm that's going on, that's what crime imprisonment should do. It should punish people that are committing crimes to protect society from them. If they wanted to do that, protect people from social harms, to put people behind bars so they can't harm the public, then they would put themselves in jail. They would write out their own warrants. They know what they're doing in secrecy and privacy. They don't put all this stuff out they're doing. I'm telling you, they do it in the back hallways of the city county buildings all across the state of Tennessee. And they're proud of it. They're proud of it. Let me show you this here. Here is Grady Judge, right here, calling her a crook. She's a crook. He's doing that. Watch this right here. Watch this right here. Watch this right here. This is Charles Van Morgan. He's a crook. He's a crook. They do it. Why can't I do it? That's the truth. He's more dangerous than any criminal. And look what he's done. Trot caused the release of hundreds of drunk drivers. As a result, more people were killed. He caused people to get dead. Tracy Trotz to the bathroom, committed fraud by pursuing a fake case. I paid for my expert that was his expert. Your tax dollars paid thousands for his liars, and the crooked Tennessee judges got promoted for putting the weight of law on lies. They will lie on you too. So he's called, that's a crook. That's a civilian crook. That's a government crook, and lawyers, and they're liars, and that's why your cost of living so high. That's why it costs them a lot of money to convict innocent people. It costs a lot of money for them to convict people of civil wrongs that they didn't do. You get people like that in jail and you stop the social harm. Let's put them in jail. They loved showing the pictures, calling people crooks. How about we call government officials crooks? And people say, that's very harsh for you to show that old man's picture. That old man is responsible for hundreds of deaths all across the state of Tennessee. What is harsh is what he did. He's guilty. It's not saying somebody's innocent that's guilty. He's guilty, and the crimes that he committed against humanity, the social crimes, are so enormous that is petty compared to the evil wickedness that these people in power do as a result of the power and the legitimacy that the public has been fooled into giving these crooks. That's a story you won't hear anywhere else. Unbridled News, we got a lot more to show you. He caused the fatality rate to skyrocket. He took me off the road in 2010. The fatality rate was going down. I was making it more possible that your family come home. He took me off the road, that man, and more people. That's a number, that's going up. That's more people. Got a knock at the door. Got a knock at the door because of his crimes and his crimes. Got a knock at Judge Crimes. Got a knock at their door telling them, your husband's dead. He's not coming home. He got killed in a car accident. A drunk driver hit him. They don't tell you it's due to our failed policies. It's because we lied on a trooper that led the state in drunk driving arrest. See, I got a lot of fans. It's because we lied on somebody. Judge Crimes. Let's go get in power. Go investigate these people. Go behind the benches after investigation. After we get a special prosecutor's office set up outside of politics, and go knock on Trot's door. Hey, Trot, we've investigated this. We found out you lies caused hundreds of lies. You lied under oath. The statute of limitations is up on all that. But we investigated the pursuits that you were in, your deadly pursuits, If it comes out to be after the investigation, I don't know. I'm just saying if it did happen, that we investigated and the shots that you fired at that person, you admitted to shooting at somebody. The Highway Patrol said it was justified. The pursuit you're in where somebody killed, we've investigated that, and if we do uncover that he killed somebody, you're under arrest, Mr. Trotz. The statute of limitations doesn't go away on murder. That's not something that you can get by with. So let's investigate the investigators. How about that? Are things working for you now? He took the #1 trooper off the road. Look at this right here. This is numbers. DUI enforcement. Investigator of the year. They got an investigator of the year. This is the year that he fired me. Next year, the fatality rate skyrocketed. #1 trooper Charles Van Morgan, Knoxville District, led the whole state in drunk driving arrest. No trooper in the state made it more safe for you to come home than Charles Van Morgan. Didn't do anything wrong. Walking around like you, completely innocent of any wrong. Working hard to protect you. Didn't do anything wrong. You're innocent. You can't go to jail, you're innocent. You can't lose your job, you're innocent. This man right here helped take my job away, made it more safe, more dangerous for you. Judge crimes. I got more education than him. Judge Clemmy Jr., this man right here, made it more dangerous. Took that man right there, me, off the road, made it more dangerous for you. It's called, those people in power, called criminaloids, people in power, their crimes, made it more dangerous for you. Let's arrest them. Let's have the biggest mass incarceration rate in the whole state of Tennessee. Although I don't like people in prison, I'm for less people in prison. But let's do that because it'll reduce crime, put them in jail, release you. We won't have to build new jails. What we can do is release all the innocent people that those people put in jail. I know they put innocent people in jail because they tried to convict an innocent person numerous times for speaking out against them. They love to call you a criminal, and you're not. You're not sometimes. A lot of times. How about we call them criminals? Can I do that? May I do that, please? I'm not asking for permission. I'm telling you. It's not defamation. It's the truth. So we got a lot of fans here. A lot of fans. Thank y'all. 1.5 million people are listening to put the people in public power in jail. Lower your affordability rate. You know how to make it more affordable? Everybody's concerned about affordability. Everything's going sky high. I got the cure. It's real simple. It is. It's not problem. You don't have to jump through hoops and figure out all this economic stuff. You got to figure out. It's not that complicated. It's really not. You know how you do it? You get in office and you have somebody in office. I'll have a special prosecutor's office. And you use that special prosecutor's office to investigate. Look at the facts. Don't do like they did. Don't put innocent people in jail. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. They're very good at that. That's why the economy is poor, because they're putting hard workers in jail. People that are trying to live their lives and benefit society are locked up in a jail cell, and they didn't do a damn thing wrong. You don't believe that? Yes, it is. That's the absolute truth. I know it is. I ain't got to guess about it. I've seen it with my eyes. I know they gaslight, and I know their narrative. I don't believe their narrative. I don't believe it. I don't believe a word of it. Innocent people are in jail, and that hurts the economy. And you get a special prosecutor's office, and you put these criminals in jail that are costing more money, more social harm, and the cost of living will go down. When you put a judge in jail that is allowing attorneys to hire expert witnesses, costs a lot of money to hire expert witnesses to prove an innocent person is guilty, that costs the taxpayer millions of dollars. Somebody's got to pay for it. They're not paying for it. You are. If we stop them from putting innocent people in jail, put them in jail to stop them from doing that, your affordability rate will go way down. We need less money, less jail cells, because there's less people in government power. And not every one of them are committing crimes. A lot of them are. So we got a lot of fans out here. Thank y'all for joining the show. We're not done yet. We're still on it. Got some facts to show you. I don't just spit out stuff that ain't true. They're putting innocent people in jail for money and for control. They let you out when they need you to do stuff for them, and they put you in jail when they don't have any job for you to do. It's about power and control and their money. Let me give you a little bit of boost of encouragement. God is greater than any problem. God's greater than any problem. So remember that. We're getting the word out. I've been to churches all across the state. I take pictures, screenshots of where I'm in front of the signs in different cities to prove I was there. None of it's fake. A lot of politicians, and I'm not a politician, say I've been in every city in the state. I wonder if they have. You see them at a few group meetings with a bunch of people around, a bunch of powerful people, and some of them ought to be in jail. You see me out at a sign showing it beside Blount County sign, behind Sullivan County sign, behind signs all over the state of Tennessee where I show you the Street County sign where I was there, passing out leaflets against people in government power. And 1.8 million people thank you all. I'm not going along with their program. So here's what they do. They make it crimes, and every day they're in these legislative offices putting people in jail for a longer period of time and making laws and rules that further incarcerate people for longer and making harsher and harsher penalties. For example, the drunk driving penalties. Everybody's concerned about drunk driving, how bad it is. How bad it is. And they claim they're concerned about drunk driving. And so they say, well, let's give people 48 hours instead of 24 in jail. They're making it harder and harder. That has never worked. It never works. While at the same time, somebody that's out putting people in jail, they lie and defame them, increasing the fatality rate exponentially. The fatality rates went up 45%. Every day they make crimes harsher. Tracy Trott's signature legislation that he helped pass was to double civil fines. They want to make it harder and harder on you. It's not harder and harder on them. They commit crimes and get out of it, never do a day in jail. They're making it harder and harder on innocent people because they've increased the fines for innocent people. I've already established, I believe, that they put innocent people in jail along with the guilty. Few guilty, mostly innocent. Your chances of going to jail are 1 in 35. There's 1 in 30 in a group of 35 people in jail under the criminal justice injustice system. So look at a crowd of 35. If none of those are under the control of the criminal justice system, it might be you. Innocence is irrelevant. In the Sharon Honeycutt case, Trooper Pettigo let an innocent person get out of jail. In Amanda's law, they had a convicted felon that was out on parole. And Trooper Pettigo, after he'd already messed up a homicide investigation, Trooper John Pettigo, instead of firing him or disciplining him or doing anything substantial that I know of, he was out on patrol and he got in pursuit in violation of the law, I believe, according to the facts, of a felon that was out of jail on parole, still under the control, but out on parole. And John Pettigo didn't obey the law, didn't turn on his emergency equipment, went in pursuit. You're in pursuit when you are make a maneuver to go in pursuit of a violator, suspected violator, actual violator of the law, when you go in pursuit of them. So when you make a maneuver to go after them, you're in pursuit. So he went in pursuit of a felon that refused to stop, probably didn't want to go back to jail, and the felon went over the double yellow line, and Trooper John Pettigo didn't have his emergency equipment on. Trooper John Pettigo failed to follow the law. They don't follow the law, and it's okay. They cover it up, they hide it, sweep it under the rug. He literally got a lifesaver award. Caused somebody to get killed. An innocent 16-year-old got killed because John Pettigo, a law enforcement government official, violated the law. Other government officials covered up for him. You never seen the videotape of that pursuit. You never seen his picture out. So the convicted felon that ran from Trooper Pettigo, and he shouldn't have ran. He's dead. You can't lock him up anymore. They literally passed the law making it mandatory for convicted felons to stay in jail longer. So they do all kinds of means to make it, to put you in jail longer, for longer periods of time. Harsh and harsher penalties. Now, people don't say this. This is what I think, and I believe this to be true. I was an expert, a drug recognition expert. I was in the criminal justice system for for over 18 years. I have a Master of Arts in criminology. Harsher penalties don't work because they're harsher penalties on the innocent. That just makes things worse. If they want harsher penalties, put it on themselves for government crimes that are much more harmful than your crimes. So the way to reduce the fatality rate for drunk drivers is to lower the penalty for drunk driving. Don't increase it. It doesn't work. There's still mass people getting killed every day. Normally, people, if you arrest them, give them a ride to jail, they won't drink and drive anymore. Most people that get arrested for drunk driving don't repeat the same offense again, because a ride to jail, even if they get out of it, that experience keeps them from doing that. So my thing would be, instead of harsher penalties, lower the penalties. Has that ever happened in the history of the state of Tennessee? Have they ever lowered the penalties for drunk driving? They keep getting harsher and harsher, and more people keep getting killed because of their failed policies, because of their criminal policies, because of the things they do to promote drunk driving. Now, if you don't think that's fair, they get out of drunk driving all the time. They drive drunk all the time and never get charged, never pay a day in jail. And if they do get convicted, it's a little slap on the wrist. So, and I'm not a punitive type person. I think that punishment for crime should fit the crime. I think that it should be deterrence and rehabilitation, not for severe punishment, because of the fact that they get off on crimes very easily when they get punished. When the very few of them in power get punished, they get off very easily. You'll hear a case, and there's a case of an Knox County prosecutor getting arrested in Alcoa for drunk driving, and he pled guilty, got a little slap on his hand, and which is fine. He pled guilty, did his time. They get easy punishment, and that's fine. I don't believe that we should be overly hard on government officials. I don't. Even the ones that commit crimes, we should make them not want to do it anymore. Be fair with them. They don't want to be fair with us. They want to keep increasing crimes, keep increasing penalties. And if they get an easy ride, if they get it off easy, then I agree with that. That's fine. I don't have ill will towards people in government power. I really don't. But by the same token, we should be, people in the mass populace should be given less harsh penalties too. I mean, let's be real. They're not punished severely. Why should we be punished severely? Why should the public be punished? You shouldn't. I believe in leniency for all people, except for the most violent, heinous, dangerous murders, and they should be executed within 5 years. So let's look at Tricia Fitzgerald. I told you I'd tell you facts. That witnessed the crime. She witnessed a drunk driver, a judge. Did she report it, have him arrested, even though he was dangerous? She has been sanctioned for withholding evidence, and the only reason why they're sanctioned for withholding evidence if she's withheld evidence against somebody else in power usually, or it never comes out. They do all kinds of heinous things to get by with it, because it's okay to prosecute the innocent. She must have got to hold somebody that had some power that she was trying to prosecute that withhold evidence, so she got in trouble for that. So let's look at Tricia Fitzgerald here in the Knox County Courthouse. So let's see how many people. Yeah, we got quite a few. Like, share, come on. Let's get 100 likes on here. Like, share, contribute. So let's look at Tricia Fitzgerald. In August 2009, see, I'll uncover the bodies out of their backyard. In August 2009, Baumgardner traveled to Davidson County to select jury trial Leviticus Cobbins. The first 4 suspects set to be tried January 2000 torture slaying of Shannon Christian and Christopher Newsom, 23 young people murdered. Prosecutors Leon Price and Takesha Fitzgerald were traveling behind the judge on Interstate 40 after juror selection was over, and everyone involved was headed back to Knoxville. Blackwood said they saw Baumgartner's vehicle weaving all over the road, nearly crashing the car. The pair called Baumgartner's cell phone, but he did not answer. They then called Jody, who was traveling separately. He answered quickly Jody's call, but refused her request to pull over. So he's driving drunk, won't even pull over. He didn't, and he still didn't pull over until she threatened to call and report him, Blackwood said. Word quickly got back to Knox County District Attorney General Randy Nichols, who went to Baumgartner's for an explanation. Baumgartner insisted he was experiencing sleep woes and simply drank too much wine. Yeah, right. Blackwood said the Christopher Newsom trial soon began with no surrounding alarm. So even Randy Nichols, aware of his drunk driving, didn't do anything because they're protecting the people in power. Now, Randy Nichols is a criminal. He committed fraud against me, committed perjury. He perjured himself under oath. He ought to go to jail. He now, because he protects people in power, he was the former district attorney here in Knoxville. And he recommended his predecessor, Sharma Tissue Allen, who's now the prosecutor. Now, these prosecutors oversee police activity. They oversee what Knoxville police do. When Knoxville police or the county sheriff's department or any murderer is involved in a murder, they investigate it to find out if charges need to be filed, if they broke criminal laws as far as murdering somebody. Now, if it's self-defense, then it's justifiable homicide. So there's no criminal charge involved in self-defense. So these prosecutors investigate. Did the sheriff's department murder somebody? Did this police officer murder somebody? And did the sheriff department murder somebody? So what they do is, every time, pretty much they say, no, they didn't, unless the sheriff wants to hang somebody out. So they're on the side of the sheriff. You say, well, they're elected. That don't mean they can murder somebody. You can get elected to the highest office in the land. You can't murder somebody. That's against the law. You don't have a right to murder somebody. Just because you're an elected official don't mean you got the right to violate the Constitution. People can hold up the Constitution and say, you can't come in my house. You don't have a right. Well, I'm elected county sheriff. I don't care. You got to follow the Fourth Amendment. Where's your probable cause? Where's your warrant? They'll get one anyway. Getting elected office, lying to get elected office, that's how they get elected office, by their fraud, by their one side of the story, by their shutting down my side. So they back up the sheriff, whoever the elected sheriff, they back up each other. They're in a little circle of power. They back up crimes, cover up crimes. They do, all the time, I believe. And put out propaganda that they're doing the right thing, got their podcast out and answer questions. They say we answer the public question. They answer questions that they ask themselves. So they back up the sheriff. So if the sheriff comes out here and shoots you 9 times in your house based on the evidence that is off the internet, you didn't do any real investigation, you read something off the internet that might have been posted by you or might have been a fraud, you don't know, but you got a warrant based on stuff off the internet. So you go shoot somebody 9 times in their house. You back up the sheriff. It was justifiable homicide. Picked up a gun. There's no body camera. There's no body camera. There's one of my fans. I got the dog on my side. So might be a Democrat dog. So I wrote down one. So if she protects the sheriff. Even if the sheriff is guilty or innocent, protects the sheriff. That's what I believe. She protects the sheriff. Unbridled news, you want to hear this out for other people. They protect the sheriff. Protect the criminal elite. Now let me go on. We'll get a little close up of the dog here. Somebody wants to let us know they're here. So over 130 people. So let's get some likes and shares, comments, and subscribe and contribute if you can. So she protects the sheriff for a reason. Because he's right? Maybe, maybe not. She protects the elected official. What about the Constitution? I got the Constitution. Protects me from them, supposedly. Does it? No. It don't. They walk all over the blood of soldiers that fought for our rights. They forget about the Constitution and our rights. They forgot about the First Amendment. They won't let me say this. I'm saying it anyway because the Constitution didn't give me the right to speak about them. The Constitution recognizes my right to my beliefs, my reasoned beliefs. Listen to them. They might be true, mightn't they? You want to lower affordability? Put them in jail. She protects the sheriff. All across this state, attorney generals protect the sheriff. Justifiable homicide if he kills you. Even if you're wrong, I believe, the only times that they will prosecute a deputy if he's on the bad side of the sheriff, it's not about innocence or guilt. It's about who's your daddy, who's in power. I know that's alarming, but it protects you to know the truth. The truth will set you free. You want your prices lowered? You want to stay out of jail? You say, I'm innocent, I'll stay out of jail. No, you're guilty. You'll still go to jail. If you're innocent, you'll still go to jail. If you're guilty, you might get free. It's not about innocence or guilt. It doesn't have a lot to do with that. So when she retires, when Randy Nichols retired, this guy in this thing where saw a drunk driver, didn't do a damn thing about it, let a trial go on that had to be overturned, cost you millions of dollars to retry these people because it got so out of hand, his drug addiction got so bad that they had to say, well, we got to let him go because they protect these people in power to the hilt. Should have put him in jail years ago, should have done something about that. They knew about it. Here's the trail that they won't bring out. But after Randy Nichols backs up the sheriff for years and years, your officers did nothing wrong, your officers are right, that's a valid warrant. We'll prosecute the person because the sheriff wants him prosecuted, not because he's in it, not because he's guilty. The sheriff wants him to go down because the sheriff got elected. So the sheriff does anything he wants. He can stomp all over the Constitution. We're in power. We got a little criminal syndicate up here. But Randy Nichols knew about Baumgartner's crimes. He knew he was driving down the road drunk, kills more people than murder does, drunk driving. Didn't care about that because he's got him in his pocket. He knew. Randy Nichols knew you go to Baumgartner, you tell him you want something done, the judge's not an unbiased judge, he'll rule in your favor, so you'll cover up his crimes. It's a criminal syndicate. You wash my back, I'll wash yours. So, Randy Nichols backs up the sheriff. We need to get, the sheriff's election's coming up pretty soon. We need to get a sheriff in office that will stand on the Constitution, that will back up the constitutional rights. So, Randy Nichols retires from the sheriff's department. He's protected the sheriffs all these many years, protected the judges, protected the crimes Randy Nichols has. I know he does. I know he did. Randy Nichols is a criminal. That's not defamation. It's true. He lied on me. Raised the fatality rate. He's a dangerous man. And he retires from the Knox County Sheriff's Department. And now, what do you know? He gets a job at the Sheriff's Department. He works for the Sheriff's Department now. You keep backing up me, lie for me. After you retire, I'll give you more money out of the state pockets. I'll give you more money. So a lot of little racket takes care of herself. You cover up our crimes, and then when you are out of office, we got a job for you. Got more money for you. It's about your money. Amanda's Law, increased punishment. They're always increasing punishment. Why? Because it's more fines. The fines go to the people in the injustice system. Goes to their fines. Signature legislation of Tracy Trotz was to double fines. Double your fines. You don't got to pay fines. You can be caught with lying under oath. Doesn't matter. The judge will say, what you lied about, we're going to say that's the truth, and put out a statement by a judge in a robe, make it look legitimate, make a lie look legitimate. This signature legislation was making the economy harder for you. He doubled fines. That's what he wants to do. They double fines, double incarceration rates, double, because the real criminals, them, aren't going to jail. The prison systems, $1.84 billion industry to put you in jail. money for each head they put in jail. They don't care they're innocent. They're lobbyists, and they got private prisons, and they put you in jail. They put you in jail for money, not because you're guilty. For-profit prisons could cost you to go to jail. Your innocence don't matter. So the prosecutors, the crooked prosecutors, are expert at perception, could land you in jail or prison. Worse, execution. Wrongful convictions. Genesis 18. It's better under a Christian value that Governor Lee claims he has to let guilty person go free than to convict innocent people. There's something seditious about that. It's estimated there are 8 million Americans either in prison, in jail, or probation, or some parole living under state control. So there's 8 million people living under criminals' control. They're criminals. They're the ones that are committing crimes, increasing crime, increasing penalties on innocent people. What's wrong with your economy? People in government power. It costs a lot of money to do all that dirty. 1 in 35 Americans lives under some form of government control. If you think that you're going to escape their crooked net that incarcerates people, puts them under government control, look in a crowd of 35 people. You or one of those 35 people is or will be under their governmental control in their so-called criminal justice system. One of those 35 people will be under the control of the criminal injustice system. You will be in jail or on parole or some form of government control in a crowd of 35 people. So if you go around 35 people, next time you're asking, were you in prison? Are you in prison? Are you on parole? They say, no, go to the next one. You in prison? You on parole? No. You in prison? You on parole? You start getting to 34, and you better hope the last one, the 33, and you get to 34, you better hope that he's under governmental control, because if he's not, you're number 35. You are or soon will be, because 1 in 35 is. And you say, well, I'm innocent. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter a bit. I know that for a fact. I didn't do what they said I did either. Doesn't matter. It does not matter to them. Get that in your thick skull. Respectfully. What matters is your money. They'll take it and smile about it. They love convicting innocent people. They're proud of it. They watch their own people in the justice system drive drunk. Don't do a damn thing about it. Wrongful convictions. The truth isn't what wins. Cases. Evidence and power do. And they make the evidence what they want it to. They can have evidence and they put it somewhere different to mean something else. They find a murder weapon and they say, it's your gun. But you say it's not my gun. So they put that evidence and give it to you. But it's not mine. That doesn't matter. They'll put your damn fingerprints on it and get somebody in a government office to say you did it. Your fingerprints are here when they're not. That's the truth. Scare you straight. Not from being guilty. Scare you straight from realizing that in this country that has more people incarcerated than any nation in the world, you can be put in jail for being completely innocent and doing the right thing, while a guilty person in the courthouse that's committing heinous crimes puts you in jail. That's the truth. Vote. Voters of truth and rage. They'd like to kill me for saying that. I just want to vote them out of office and put them in a box to protect society from you, protect them, to protect you from them for a shorter period of time as they get to learn the lesson. They'd like to kill me. Wrong convictions. It could be you. 35 people. Look around your Christmas table. Are there 35 people there? One of y'all is going down. You're going down, I'm telling you. You will. You think I'm joking? It ain't even funny. I mean, you say I didn't do it. Yeah, that's pretty seditious. That's pretty wicked, isn't it? I know. Same thing happened to me a couple times. Speak out against them, see what the hell happens. Call them out for their crime, see what the hell happens. I just happen to be hard-headed and not give a damn. They ain't putting me under. Learn some God-given fighting skills. One of them is speaking out. 1.5 million people is a little bit of protection, not much, a little bit. Something happens to me, you know, they'll probably try to accuse me of a crime. I got the right to speak out, and I'm damn sure going to do it. Picture a small church, a bus, your coworkers, your family reunion at the table. Have you ever been in the wrong place at the wrong time? Have you ever had a cop talk to you while you were nervous? Ever trusted someone who later betrayed you? Could you handle 8 hours of interrogation without a break? Can you overcome the social pressure of your significant other or lawyer telling you to plead guilty to a crime that you did not commit? There are studies out, numbers been tested, scientific studies that show, they've asked people that pled guilty to crimes, and we got in here that pled guilty to crimes. So yeah, we got 93. Like, share, comment, let's get 100. There are people who have pled guilty to crimes that were not guilty. And some of them were. And they asked them, who was the first person to suggest to you that you plead guilty to this crime? Talking about social pressure. You didn't do it. Didn't do it. Want to fight it. Fight's in you. The first person, according to a study, that suggested to a criminal defendant, whether or not they were guilty or innocent, that they should plead guilty. Now, your defense attorney's supposed to defend you. They don't want attorneys to defend you. If they want attorneys to defend you, they'll let me be an attorney. But they don't want attorneys to defend you. They want attorneys to defend them and overlook their criminal acts, people in government power. That's why they won't let me be an attorney. I would say, object, Your Honor. That's a violation of the law. You can't do that. You're allowing deputy sheriffs to tamper with a witness. Seen it with my own eyes. You can't do that, Your Honor. I'd complain about it. The deputy sheriff has been put in jail for tampering with a witness, but they don't want that. They can't have somebody stopping them from putting innocent people in jail. They need the money. Damn it, how dare you? What do you think this is, a constitutional republic? You think we give a damn about soldiers? We care about our back pocket. We're in power. We're arrogant. They did a study that showed the first person to suggest to a defendant who's on trial for a crime that they should plead guilty was his trusted attorney, the one supposed to defend him of crimes. The second was their significant other. So you got two people that are great influence on you, and you're innocent, telling your attorney says your best to plead guilty, work out a deal. They're not going to fight for you. They're telling you plead guilty. What are you going to do if you're innocent? You're going to plead guilty. The next person was your significant other, social pressure. Because the attorney's working on her, get him to plead guilty. Come on, it's going to be easy on y'all. Come on. Go along with the program. Give the judge some money. We'll be all right. Yeah, guilty people go to jail all the time. Innocent people go to jail more often, probably, in my estimation. Social pressure, study done. Your attorney's going to guide you through the guilt. Your attorney is your counselor for them to discuss how you should go along with them. That's what your attorney's for. He's an officer of the court. An officer of the court wants guilty pleas, wants money in the back pocket. They get the judge gets so much money ahead every guilty plea gets. He don't even have to wrongfully find you guilty in civil cases, so he can get you to agree to that. So, if accused of something you didn't do, could you afford $50,000 right now for a defense attorney? So even if you're innocent, you ain't got $50,000, you'll go down. I've been accused of crimes I didn't commit, been put in jail, been put in the hospital, then in jail. You have $50,000, I'm telling you, wake up, America, wake up, Tennessee. The Christian governor will haul your ass off to jail, treat you like nothing, treat his criminal buddy like he's God's gift to the world. Got his name everywhere. He must be a great man. He's got his name everywhere. His name ought to be on a inmate list where they can check the cell that they're in. It's where they ought to be. In my honest, humble opinion. That must be okay. Yeah, well, innocence isn't protected. The system doesn't punish the guilty, it punishes less powerful. It doesn't, you're not protected if you're innocent. People hold on, I'm innocent. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter a hill of beans that you're innocent. It matters how much money you got to buy your way out to pay them for an innocent verdict or an innocent judgment in your favor. It's about the money. You got money, you can buy your way out of anything. If you don't have money, you're going down. 1 in 35. Your number's coming up soon enough. The only thing you can do about it is vote. I say vote them out. They say kill Van, put him in jail, beat Van up. Keep on coming. I got something for you. They profit from conviction, not truth. Prisons profit off your body. Core Civic, $240 million a year paid to them by you. The state tax dollars pay them to incarcerate you. They let you out to keep paying them more long enough to get some money to pay the government to put you back in jail more where they can control you. That's what they do. They get $23,468 per inmate per year. They're making a killing. That's more than my retirement. Getting that off an inmate in jail. Feed them peanut butter sandwiches and bologna sandwiches, probably 3 days old green. Treating prisoners and getting murdered and all kinds of crazy, horrific crimes going on in these for-profit, not state-run prisons. That Bill has them. Bill Lee are behind. Yeah, they're behind. They got it. People, hey, we'll help you run for re-election if you'll fund our private prison with tax money. Yeah, that's how they do it. They get people to promote. He's a good person. They got a lot of money to say that, and won't let me say the contrary to a few people. Well, I'm going to say it anyway. It's my First Amendment right. Bill Lee, you didn't give me the right. The Constitution didn't give me the right to speak out against you. God did. It's my reason to think and reason. Other people can reason too. Come along with me. We'll go to where it's a good place. Try to make a little better Tennessee by putting them in jail. Let's prosecute the prosecutors. How about it? How do innocent people go to jail? Prosecutor misconduct. Prosecutors they're great people. They're honest people. Yeah, right. Brady violations, where they don't turn over evidence. They pressure witnesses. They give witnesses deals to lie on you. Winning is more important than truth. Prosecutors love innocent convictions. Oh, they love them. That's a feather in their cap. I was able to pull that off, man. I got a conviction out of an innocent. Contrary to Genesis 18, the exact opposite. They ought to value letting guilty people go through. Now, he might have done this, I don't know, but we couldn't prove it. And it's better to let a guilty person go free than if he had been innocent. We want to err on the side of letting people be free. We can't prove it. They don't do that. They love their evil. They love their sickness. That's what's wrong with them. And if you've subscribed to the Bible in the last days, it's getting worse and worse. Your chances of going to jail for being innocent are even worse, even higher, because they love doing that evil stuff. Evil's getting worse. More innocent people going to jail. Police misconduct. Evidence shaped to fit. Now, they have evidence. They got a gun. And then they say, but it's your gun. So they put the evidence somewhere. That's not my gun. Your fingerprints on. They put evidence where it doesn't belong. They rig stuff. Once they think you're the one or need the case solved, then that's where they look to find facts to show you're guilty. If the facts ain't there, they lie about it. I'm not guessing that they do that. I know for a fact they do. That's not a theory. I've seen them do it. You can track them in the newspaper articles. There's hundreds of them. They just separate them out and excuse it out. Nobody ever does any time for their horrific crimes that go against what it says in Genesis 18. Convict innocent people. They don't care. False confessions, hours of interrogation, threats of harsher punishment, promises of leniency, fear, exhaustion, trauma. 1 in 4 DNA exonerations are from people who confess the crime. Scientifically, their DNAs, they accused of rape. They didn't commit the rape. Their DNA that was the perpetrator of the rape belonged to somebody else later. It wasn't even their DNA. They could not have done it. Their DNA wasn't nowhere. It was somebody else's DNA. And they confessed to the crime. The police got them to confess to the crime. Eyewitness misidentifications. Memory is not video. People misidentify people all the time. Junk science. They make up stuff. They pay people to lie about stuff. I know, I've seen them do it. I've seen them do that. They hire an expert to make up lies. They hired an expert, in my case, to say, you can see better at night in the dark than you can in the daytime. That's what they hired an expert. They didn't pay for it. You paid for an expert for them to lie. You paid for an expert for Stacey Heatherly to go shut down the road a year and a half later and pay somebody to fly from another state, pay them a lot of money, stay in a hotel room several days there, stay in a hotel room to lie in court several days, to lie under oath, to say that you can see better in the dark than you can in the daytime. To defy science and logic. Paid them with your money. Your money paid for that lie. It cost stuff. That wasn't free. That's why your property taxes are going up. That's why your food prices are going up. They need a lot of money to perpetrate this evil wickedness across the state of Tennessee. They do it all the time. And they benefit. They get promoted, get more of your money for costing you more and lying more. That's what they do. They hire fake experts. You can get an expert to say whatever you want to. I've been to law school. I graduated from law school, passed the Tennessee bar exam. Right out of a professor's mouth. They know. You can get an expert to say anything that you want them to say. You can get an expert to say, that's an expert in engineering, to say that if you jump out of an airplane, then you don't have to have a parachute. You can hit the ground and you'll be just fine, if that's what they want to prove in their little stupid case that they're trying to prove. When somebody pushed you out of an airplane, they were trying to kill you. Gravity is not fatal. They'll say whatever they want to say. It's about who's got the most money. It's not about who's innocent. And they got your money. That's why your prices are sky high. It costs them a hell of a lot of money to prove ridiculous, false, crazy stuff. And they literally tell you what they're trying to prove to you and say it louder and louder, just like Hitler used to say, kill the Jews, kill the Jews. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. They're dangerous to us. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're saying these people are innocent. They're guilty. They're in jail. These people are guilty. They're in jail. No, they're not. No, they're not. A lot of them aren't. 5 to 10%, according to their own estimates. The guilty people are the people that are putting them in jail. Let's investigate the investigators. Inadequate defense. They won't let real attorneys like me defend y'all. They only have their hand-picked line attorneys. We got 89. Let's get some more like so. Inadequate defense. Poor defenders. Often receive overloaded public defenders. No investigations. No expert witnesses. Pressure to plead guilty. Justice depends on money, not innocence. They bias or mislead juries. You're talking about prosecutors that do that every day. Tricia Fitzgerald, that seen a drunk driver, she's a prosecutor. She let Baumgartner go, got him in her pocket. She'll prosecute you for drunk driving. They're expert when you didn't even drink and drive. They've got a problem right now all over the state of Tennessee. They're arresting innocent people for drunk driving. The only ones you hear about are the ones that get out of it. What about the ones that are still falsely convicted that they've arrested illegally? You don't hear about that story because obviously they're guilty if they were convicted in a court of law through their judges, through their prosecutor's office, through their juries. Obviously they were guilty. Were they? I don't think so. Juries get it wrong all the time because these prosecutors are expert at deception. Tricia Fitzgerald is an expert at lying. She does it every day, all day long. She's real good at standing up, smiling at the jury and pointing at you and saying, he did this heinous thing when you didn't do it. You didn't do it. She's doing something evil and wicked. Maybe her hind end ought to go to the jail cell. See how she likes it long enough. Be lenient with her long enough to teach her they don't do that. You don't do that to the mass populace. We got something called the Constitution, Mr. Fitzgerald. It means something. It matters. And the First Amendment allows me to say that. So if you don't like it, then you better lump it because I'm going to say it to 1.5 million people. Thank you very much. So these are some of the issues going on in America with our corrupt criminal justice system. So thank y'all so much for watching. We got only like 8 more likes and subscribe. Call your friends and neighbors. Get them to like and subscribe and contribute if you can. In 1760, Justice Warren Blackstone expressed a sentiment in connection with the law of England, the principle in the Bible, that you shouldn't convict the innocent people. That it's better to let guilty people go free. And in that case, in the Bible, God Almighty, which I think is just a little bit more powerful to me. I don't bow my head to any man, I bow my head to God. And I pray, you know, Satan looked at me, I had my head down on my knees and thought I was defeated. He thought I was beat, thought Van Morgan was beaten because I had my head down on my knees. And I got up and said amen. He figured out I was praying to God Almighty. I'm not beaten at all. Nobody's, as long as you got God on your side, you're not beat. You're not beat at all. Circumstances don't matter. Pray to God, ask God for help. Ask God to help you, He will. God Almighty says He was going to spare Sodom and Gomorrah from all the wickedness of a whole city. But for 10 people there, He would have spared the whole city of probably thousands and thousands. Better let innocent people, better let guilty go free than convict the innocent. Is a principle in the Bible. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. The principle of the Bible. If I ever get in power, that's the principle that I go on. Anybody that I endorse, that's the principle that I hope that they have, or I won't endorse them. Don't let innocent people suffer. I've suffered dramatically. The state of Tennessee has suffered because of crimes of people in power. God's reluctance to destroy the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, even 10 righteous persons, can be found in Genesis 18, 23 through 32. It's a principle that I subscribe to. I have faith and belief in the power of Almighty God. There are no innocent projects for civil wrongs. This state, by these dirty, crooked judges, convict people of civil wrongs all day long, every day, and benefit financially. That needs to change. There is a law on the books in Knox County, probably throughout most counties in the state, that if a judge finds somebody guilty, part of the fines and court costs go to their retirement. And part of the court costs. So part of the money, a judge has a financial interest in finding you guilty, even if you're not. I've seen it happen. They've done it to me. They drag you into court for no legitimate reason. A judge won't let you defend yourself and then finds you guilty of a crime and benefits financially off it. So he does not tell you you're innocent, because if he does, you walk out of the courtroom, there's no fines and court costs. There's no money for him at all. So they find you guilty. That needs to change. They shouldn't benefit off guilty pleas. They shouldn't benefit off prosecuting innocent people. They do that in Tennessee every day, all day long. That needs to change in the state of Tennessee. Bill Lee's not going to change that. So we got 3 more likes. Subscribe and also contribute. So that needs to change. They don't need to benefit off convicting innocent people. In 1983, Barry Sherrick and Peter Newfield got the Innocent Projects going in New Jersey, Centurion Ministries, that later became the Innocence Project, to look at DNA evidence and research in prisons of all the innocent people in prisons, which is a great thing. Getting innocent people out of jail by researching the DNA evidence. They didn't do it, they couldn't do it. Or some of these prosecutors and judges that falsely put them in jail being penalized for what they do? Not substantially, hell no. There's 8,000 people under criminal justice control right now in the United States of America, under some form of control. Their estimates are 5 to 10% of them in the prison population are completely innocent. I think it's much more than that. So that's about up to 400,000 people wrongly convicted. That's more than 10 innocent people that are convicted as a result of our corrupt, wicked, cruel, conscience-seared, dirty prosecutors and wicked judges that isolate themselves and control this courthouse from public scrutiny. I'm scrutinizing right now. Put them in jail. Teach them not to do that. Wrongful convictions. Dirty little secret of the criminal justice system. I'm telling the world, correct the wrong. You've done wrong. You've done wrong to me. You've done wrong to Tennesseans. Hold up your white flag. Correct your wrongs. and then we can start making things better, punishing you for what you've done, and work out recompense. Until then, we're not letting up. They won't correct their wrongs. We have to make them. We have to give them an attitude adjustment. Symbolically bust them upside the head. Not really. Show them the business. Put some of them in jail. Community outrage. Community outrage. Get outraged about the dirty prosecutor system, the dirty justice system that puts innocent people in jail. That you might be the next one. Before they put you in jail, let's get outraged. Vote these people out of office. Every one of these judges up for re-election, don't continue to re-elect these dirtbags. Community outrage is what stops a lot of this stuff. What we can do about it. Vote. Voters in Tennessee enraged. Public outrage is an important part of fighting what these dirty judges are doing. The ultimate tool to obtaining confession is far too often torture. They even torture people. In the United States of America, this very day, even in America, the United States of America, the bastion of liberty, they torture people for false confessions, psychologically manipulate and do the dirtiest, heinous things. Torture, physical or psychological, changes everything, every hour of every day, in every country in the world. Leading cause of wrongful convictions. And I'm not talking about going to like the Long Island audit. I'm not talking about going to public places and causing disturbance with them, even though kudos to him for what he does. I'm not talking about raising hell with them that I'm not doing. Now, if other people want to do that, kudos to you. I'm talking about going to the polls quietly and voting these people out of office. If they're up for re-election in a judicial election, vote them out. Vote these out. Constitutional rights. Bringing the fight to them. I'm talking about they will bring the fight to you. They will put you in jail. They will knock in your door and put you in jail. That's the problem. Here's one of the judges, right, Mary L. Wagner, up for re-election. Send them a message. Vote her out. She's up for re-election next year. Her term ends in 2026. Vote her out. Don't re-elect these judges. Show them that we're not putting up with this. I have an anonymous survey on my YouTube channel. Fill out that anonymous survey and send me any information you have about judges and people in government power, the criminaloids. And I'll put it out to the world. I'll put it out to people worldwide. So we got 99 likes. One more and we'll have 100. Send me any information you have about people in government power and we'll put it out to the world. If we prosecute the prosecutors, your prices will go down. Affordability. Prices are at 30 to 60% since 2019. Wages barely moved. Housing is now a luxury. Groceries 32%. Child care 30%. Healthcare premiums skyrocketing since subsidies ended. People aren't broke because they bad with money. They're broke because people in power are stealing your money. Spending a lot of money convicting innocent people. In Tennessee, the economy is what people are most concerned about. Voters say the economy is the most important issue facing today. Well, I'm telling you, the way you can get the economy working, is to vote these people in government power out and stop people in the unjust criminal justice system from throwing you in jail for not committing a crime. And let me scare you straight. They have those boot camps where they scare criminals straight. Let me scare you straight. As you look at the beautiful view, let me scare you straight and tell you the truth. So we got 100 likes, great. Thank you all so very much. Let me scare you straight. If you're walking around today, going to work, taking care of your family, you think you're innocent and you'll never be convicted of a crime, never be in a jail cell, then let me tell you the truth. The truth is your innocence doesn't matter. If the state needs you to say you're guilty for a crime, say they need to solve a crime, they don't know who did it, and they just need to put out public information that they got the perpetrator to make themselves look good, they'll charge you. And you'll go to jail, and they got experts to prove a lie. Your innocence doesn't matter. It's what they need for you because they're in complete power, they're in complete control. What we need to do is clear out the jails and make space for them. Put them in jail. That's my thinking. That's my logical, reasoned, educational point of view. Do you agree with me? Like, share, comment. We'll be back on here tomorrow to spread some more truth. They got an alternative world. They have fake truth. That's not truth. They have fake stuff. It's alternative world. I have reality, the real truth of what's really going on. When you really go to the store and you really buy groceries, it's really, really high. When you really try to buy medical insurance or when you really try to go to the hospital, there's none around. I live in the real world of real truth and real facts. I'll tell you the real truth. This is Charles Van Morgan. Unbridled, real news, a different perspective, the truthful perspective than what you'll hear out by government trash. And these people are trash and dangerous to you. Thank you so very much for joining us today. We'll try to be back on here tomorrow morning or anytime news comes on to tell you the truth, to give you some truth to think about, some stuff they don't want you to hear. I certainly appreciate over 1.5 million people. May God bless you all, I pray. We'll let you look at the beautiful view, and remember, I always try to encourage you, telling you I love you, and God does too. Until tomorrow, we'll let you look at the beautiful view and sign off just in a second. Thank you all so very much.